I'm Jocelyn Brumbaugh, founder of the Brumbaugh Group. In 2006, I started Legal and Professional Services Council to offer programming on legal marketing best practices. For the safety of our members, we aren't meeting right now, but our popular video series, The Takeaway, continues in a pandemic-friendly version we call The TakeOut. Today we talked with Kate Slaasted about how she's creating balance and staying connected with her teams. Kate is an LPSC board member and leads communications at Kirkland and Ellis.
So working from home has had some really great benefits, but it became clear to me very early on that it would also be possible to slip into working all of the time. And while that might have been okay for a short period, it just wasn't going to be sustainable over the long term. So I realized that I needed to create boundaries and routines and really stay connected with my team during this time. So for me, the idea of boundaries and routines was really about three things: intention, flexibility, and patience. On the intention point, it was really about figuring out which routines that worked before for me would still work and which ones had to adjust. And so scheduling became really, really important for me. I scheduled time for work, for family, for exercise, for catching up with friends, and even some downtime. I also really try to create physical cues for myself for transition times, like putting my laptop away at the end of the day, having lunch with my kids, or taking a walk at a time I'd normally be commuting. So the footnote to all of that scheduling is recognizing that right now my best laid intentions just may simply not happen, and being flexible enough to adapt to the situation. I realized I had to control what I could and recognize that there really is a lot I can't control right now, and I just have to roll with it sometimes. Which brings me to my third element on routines and boundaries, which was patience, both with myself and with my colleagues and with my family. Not feeling frustrated when decisions can't be made or tasks might take longer than I'm used to. I got the good advice early on to think about what I would tell a friend or a colleague in my same situation, because we're often our own harshest critics. So that's a piece of advice that I've carried forward with me through this time. The last part of staying sane and working through this time has been really staying connected with colleagues. And I think this is probably the most important piece. So with my team, we very quickly, early on, figured out how to keep our work going. What was a little more challenging was how do we stay connected as people and as colleagues. And so we decided at the beginning it was especially important to come together as a team and support each other both personally and professionally. We checked in with each other individually and in small and large groups. One thing that we found really useful was a journal prompt exercise, which encouraged everyone to spend some time to check in with themselves. And then over Zoom, we shared those experiences. And the team was really candid about the things that they were going through, their anxieties, their concerns, but also what they were grateful for. And I think that that exercise really brought us closer together and made it easier to empathize and support each other as we go forward. The connections that have been harder to recreate virtually are those small interactions, those dozens of interactions that you have all day long, whether it's with your barista at Starbucks or your colleague who works down the hall that maybe you don't work with a lot, but you run into grabbing coffee or out getting lunch. And those are incredibly important as well. And that's those are the types of connections that as this has gone on that I've had to try to recreate as best I can. A few things that have worked for me, I try to reach out to a few new people each week just to say hi or check in. It might be as simple as an instant message or a text message or a message over LinkedIn. Maybe it's a phone call or a Zoom meeting with people that I know better. But those little interactions I know have been really meaningful to me when people reach out to me that way. And so I've tried to do that as well. We also as a team get together weekly over Zoom. We've done virtual happy hours or coffee breaks every single week. Sometimes we have a theme to keep it fun. But I've found in this time of not being able to physically see each other very much, I really look forward to those weekly Zoom check-ins where I can see everybody's face on the screen and just connect more socially than about a specific work project. What I found really interesting during this time is that in some ways being physically separated has actually made us feel closer together as a team. We are seeing each other in our bedrooms, our homes. I've met people's spouses. I've met their pets. And that's all been really fun and interesting. And I've also learned that for team members who sit in different locations from where the majority of my team sits, everyone being home has been a bit of an equalizer. We're now seeing them on the screen just as much as they're seeing us, and they're no longer feeling sort of left out of some of those social activities that the larger team might get to do in person.